informed that we might be running without a government very soon. We have a prime minister who is under excessive pressure. Within just the last 4 months, we've had 4 chancellors of the exchequer, that is ministers of finance or secretary to the treasury for those in the US. And that has meant a lot. The resignation of Boris Johnson and what followed, all of this actually has exacerbated the situation. So tonight, we're just trying to get this global story and bringing it inside your homes. What are you doing different? But also tonight, beyond just the global financial crisis, there's something else, which is, as Africans, quite often if you go into white people's homes, you will find that they start training their children. By the time they are 16, they're almost getting thrown out of the house. If they stay in the house, they contribute to the bills at home because they can start working and earning a little bit of money. What are we doing with our young adults? Have we involved them in a manner that would allow them then to contribute to home budgets? As homes struggle, as parents struggle now with the increasing bills, the changing bills, have the children coming? Have the young adults who have just started work coming to help, or we are still shy to get them involved? That will be your conversation. Remember, you can just tune in. This is 75W Radio. This is Umma Connect on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Zoom, where we are at the moment, talking about that. Remember, in the chat room, the way this program works, you can comfortably just, well, if you're shy to raise your hand, you can just put a message in the chat room and, well, be assured we will see it and we will discuss it. Maybe a question, maybe a point. Maybe you may wish to disagree with someone. Nothing, no topic is out of conversation or discussion of the program because we allow. This is Come, Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. Isma, if you're ready with our first clip, please let's have the clip, let's prepare our people and get cracking on. 10 people on and 11 people speaking. We are ready to kick off with the program. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's see what is happening. And this is a clip that we have got off the channel, The Humble Penny. It's not our footage, it's footage we are borrowing from The Humble Penny, who have gone out to talk about and talk to Brits about how they are coping with the financial global crisis at the moment.
Parents, so trying to share the responsibility between 3 people is quite expensive.
Hey guys,
not sure if you can hear the voice, the voice well. Can you hear the voice well, please? If you can just maybe with a raise of hands. Looks like there is a cracking in the voice.
Where some people are even unable to pay their bills as a result of it.
Ismail, looks like the voice is crackling. I don't know whether it's my side or whether that's the case. Please, if you can just check that and then we can get cracking it. If you've just joined us, thank you very much. My name is Kassim Kayira. The program is Come, Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. Program is already attracting attention and we are getting, we are getting a sort of a sponsorship deal, a sort of a bid from Nala, the company that sends money. We've got quite a number of them actually now that are coming up. You're probably used to SendWave, you're used to TapTap and so on. But this program now is happy to be associated with Nala, which will be joining us very soon to be a party to this conversation. Program where we just talk about everything and anything that affects you, your daily lives. I hope the clip is now clearer, Isma, and we are happy to go on with it.
Graduated and I live with my parents, so trying to share the responsibility between 3 people, quite expensive.
Hey guys, so the cost of living is rising and affecting so many people in so many different ways. For some who are a lot less well off, it's hitting them really badly, up to the point where some people are even unable to pay their bills as a result of the rises in food pricing and energy costs and that sort of stuff. So for today's video, we wanted to just share how we are reacting to this ourselves and what we're doing practically to kind of manage this process, this whole challenge we're all having, this crisis related to the cost of living rising. But to kind of make this video really practical, we thought we'd do something different today. You can see I'm in the car. Mary and I are in different parts of London. We just wanted to go and speak to real people on the streets to just get their real reactions. How exactly is this cost of living affecting people? What kind of stuff are they having to do or give up in their lives, and how are they dealing with it?
Hey guys, how are you preparing for the rising cost of living? Well, we're going to take to the streets of London and ask people just exactly how they're doing it.
It's difficult to say because it's out of the control. It's not about the United Kingdom. It's outside factors that unfortunately took us in that position with the politics.
Turning the heating down, just wanted to really save a lot of money. Recently graduated and I live with my parents, so trying to share the cost of living between 3 people, it's quite expensive. I guess an electric used to cost probably about £80 a month, it's got up to £250. Water bill probably used to be about 32 and now that's about £80 as well. So trying to deal with that whilst definitely not getting a pay rise, and then also travel costs. So traveling from zone 1 to 5 is over £300 a month now. And then living on a 1,500 budget, trying to save, if you want to get a mortgage, just doesn't really work.
Me personally, I just feel like they say we might be getting a pay rise or whatnot, but the cost of living is going up, so the pay rise isn't really doing anyone any favors. During lockdown, petrol was like £1 a litre or something like that. Now it's at 160 or 170 if you're lucky. So what I do now to save money is anytime I see, if I drive past a petrol station, it's on like 154, 150, 155, I'll literally top up. Even though I've just topped up the day before, all you can do is make more money. It's the easiest way to do it. Obviously there's like investment and stuff like that, but the main thing is just like standard income is just literally what I'm trying to do right now.
You need to have more experience, and nobody wants to hire you because you're too young and you don't know as much as the older people do. And then it's like, right, well, what do I want to know?
Find another ways of supplying energy wise. For all these years, they were depending on Russia.
Yes.
Regarding the gas, Europe is struggling. Now outside of, when you're not in part of the Europe, that's been other countries, they will not support you. So you are alone. So they have to find new trade deals, States, China. It will be very complicated. It's very complicated. Will affect from super rich to a normal person.
I actually have 3 children at the moment. So things are really, really hard. But then what can we do? Just try and just get on, try and cut back on quite a lot of things at the moment. Shopping, when it comes to food.
Wow.
Yes, when it comes to food. So generally we, because I'm a chef, we tend to do our shopping mainly in Sainsbury's, and then we cook more as well. But then now I'm having to go to places like Aldi.
Oh.
We normally do a lot of baking. So we've had to kind of cut back on the baking a little bit, yes.
So you're going to be changing your car because of this?
I thought about that, to be fair. Maybe electric cars to get something more cost effective, but yeah, it's just kind of hoping, great side to see how it goes, to be honest. To see if things calm down again, but if it keeps going like this, then we have to kind of make us.
You have been amazing. Thank you so much for your insight and showing what you're planning to do.
All right, so I think we can stop that clip right
You
there.
listen to that, I don't know how you felt.
I think we get an insight there. Isma, if we can stop that, thank you very much. If you've just joined us, this is Let's Talk with me, Kassim, Kayira, and it's just 34 minutes past 8 o'clock. We are talking about how you are coping. It's the question actually we are putting to you. How are you coping with the rising prices, with the rising cost of living? But also, as an African family, what are you doing probably to engage and involve your young adults to be party to sharing the bills at home? Are they helping to pay the mortgage at all? The young adults who have just finished university and have started work, maybe they should be able to contribute. In Africa, growing up where we grew up, the father, the mother were always the big people in the home. To receive money from a son who has just started working, you always felt like, yes, alhamdulillah, it can be a gift, but not a contribution that is a must. It would actually almost be a voluntary aspect. Right now in Europe, in America, in Australia, in Asia, probably the story is different. We'd like to find out from you. How are you doing it? How are you coping with that situation? The changing prices, the dilemma that many families have to contend with will be very interesting to hear from you. Remember, the program is Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. We are live on 75 RABI'L Radio. We are live on Ummah Connected, on YouTube, on Zoom, and on Facebook. You can also just check 75wradio.com or check Ummah Connected. Actually, if you get onto YouTube, just look for Ummah Connected or 75 Radio. Look for the program Come Let's Talk, and you'll be able to check on any programs that you might have missed. Very interesting programs coming up ahead, inshallah. And starting tonight, we're actually talking about the program talking about now the increasing or the growing prices. How are you coping as a family? It will be interesting just to hear. Why don't we just open the microphone? It looks like in the United States of America, the situation has been slightly different. What we are suffering now, we are getting into what many are calling a winter of discontent. In Europe, gas prices, especially with the situation in Russia, Putin must be laughing all the way to the bank, because many countries now, with the cold weather beginning to bite, it looks like we might actually be probably on bended knees. Some people might have to switch off some of their heating to make sure they save on energy costs. How are you doing it? But also beyond that, it's about young adults and involving our families in our lifestyles. You've got a daughter, you've got a son who's just graduated, finished their apprenticeship, and they've started working. Have they started contributing to the home budget? Why don't we just get talking now? Hasfa, why don't I just come through to you in the United States of America? Probably your story is different. Hasfa, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How is the global, the rising prices actually affecting you? Are you just going on with life as normal? Hello, Hafsa, are you there? Hello, Hafsa. I'll just run to Mariam in Texas and see. Mariam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, Mariam, are you there? Is Mariam at work and unable to take it in? Well, I just wanted to start so much in America, because being far away from where we are at, sometimes they actually don't feel what we go through. Isma, I'll ask you in the meantime, while I'll try to bring in people in here to get us the other clip, the African clip, the family clip, in terms of how they are dealing with their own situation. Might help us to actually decide if this is how extreme we've gone to checking our rising costs. In the meantime, I'll just come to Nilfa as I try to get Hasfa and Mariam in Texas. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa
It's
barakatuh.
been a long time. I hope you're keeping well.
Alhamdulillah.
How is the weather treating you? How are the rising costs actually affecting you? Have you been affected at all, or being the worker that you are, you haven't felt it? The fridge is still filled up capacity.
No. You do feel it, because the price of the stuff, the shopping, food stuff, and everything has gone up. So you do feel it, and we're starting to cut down as well. The weather is still okay, not so cold yet.
Yeah.
I think we're getting accustomed to having more jumpers and blankets now. And we stay mostly in one room, so TVs are in the bedrooms now. So you tend to adjust. There's nothing we can do about it.
Let's talk about prices. Anything that stands out for you? I just went to the shop. I actually had two instances that were very interesting this week. First, I went to the shop where I normally buy my potatoes, because we are near farms. We tend to buy our potatoes directly from farms, and that makes a huge difference in comparison to you people who go to supermarkets. So I went to normally where I buy my potatoes. I won't name the brand just because they haven't paid for the advertisement. But I went to the potato shop and I bought the potatoes. Normally a bag of 25 kilograms, which is what I normally buy, has been £8. Only to check, it was already £11. So £3, and my salary, my income has not increased at all. But something else happened during the course of the week, that when I went, I just decided, since it looks like it's a struggle and sometimes our children don't get to understand what we're going through, I just got some money. I gave them £30, I think. Yeah, £40. I said, we have a budget of £40. I would like you now to be able to apportion it. So I took my two daughters, and it was a very, very interesting experience. First time it's happened. So I gave them £40 and I said, this is what we have as our budget. Work with that. It was very interesting how we drew up a list on the basis of priorities. They went in, and then the interesting thing is each time we would check, it's salads. Once we pick up the salads, then they just go onto the phones and do the calculator quickly. Out of the 40 pounds, if I remove, £1.10, £1.15, how much remains? We work to the budget that actually at the end of it, we were 40 pence down. So 39 pounds and 60 pence. So we had 40 pence left, and it was amazing. The fact that probably I wouldn't do my maths like that, but the fact that the girls had actually worked out the maths, I would like to do that experience with the boys and just see how they would fare. But the girls really surprised me. But for once,
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah?
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, please, yes.
So when you did that budget with them, when you did the list, you had to vet your list. It's not your everyday shopping that you've been doing, isn't it?
No. It was actually them who developed the list. It was not even me who did the list.
Yeah. This is what we've come to
on the basis of how you know what we've left in the fridge.
Yeah.
What do you think we should have? And they started drafting. So they would say, no, this one maybe we can do without for now. We can do without for now.
Yeah.
And that for me was really, really very interesting. I found it really, very fulfilling as a parent, but also as a person in terms of putting people into management positions. When you put someone on the map, the way it suddenly became clear, I was sort of saying, we want cheddar cheese, but now, we are not going for the big bag, we are going for the smaller pack. The way they were actually working to make sure, then I would go and I say that, but I love my tomatoes, they said, but Papa, that's not on. Can we first do the list that we've done, and then in case there is any reminder, then you can actually use that. To me, actually, for a 15-year-old and an 8-year-old, doing the budget and doing the maths, going onto the phone, onto the calculator, doing that was actually very telling. It was very revealing. So back to you, Neil, for then. Looking at the budget, what has had to drop? What has had to remain?
A lot of stuff has had to drop, especially for the kids. When you go shopping, especially with the kids, they want the crisps, they want all the junk you can think of.
Yeah.
But now even you're tending to spend longer in the supermarket. Before you used to be 30 minutes, you just go in the shelf and pull what you want. Nowadays, you stand in one aisle for over 5 minutes trying to get the cheapest deal and calculating. So a lot has gone down. We're really going into bulk shopping is now mostly because I had stopped bulk shopping because we're less now.
Yeah.
But I've gone back into bulk shopping because I think it's worth it than actually doing the individualized kind of the single unit stuff. That is how I'm trying to sort everything, and obviously cooking more and someone learning to cook in the house.
Right. I was surprised. I went into 3 different stores, and for some reason, all the aisles that had spaghetti, like the normal spaghetti,
The pasta,
they were actually empty shops.
Yes.
3 different supermarkets. And I was thinking, are people now just resorting to this as the cheapest way, as quickest way to cook? Because actually, if
it's pasta and noodles.
That's the place to eat from. And I was looking at 3 different supermarkets, and actually the aisles with the spaghetti were gone. The only spaghettis that were there were sort of the £1.10, 1.69 pence, not the 20, not the 32 pence that we actually used to.
Yeah.
So how do you think we should? What have we learned in this difficult situation?
Anyway, I've learned that actually I think we were spending more. We can actually try and save with when it comes to the food. I'm really worried about the heating and the gas. This is my real concern because we are not yet in the months that we really need the heating.
October,
so what is going to happen then?
Yeah.
I have a smart meter, but I got to a point whereby I think I'm now trying to turn it off because it really raises my blood pressure. You can really see how the electricity and the gas is going. And it's like, wow, this never used to happen. I would always have my heating on the whole time of winter. But now I can afford that. You can see I won't be able to afford it. Even though I'm working, yes, but my pay did not go up. Okay. We were told we were getting a pay. I think all the nurses will say this. We got an increase. Apparently we got a bonus.
Yeah.
But what happened? They decided to give us a bonus in 1 month. So all of it went through the tax. So we didn't get anything.
Wow.
So this is the kind of situation we're in, but we're trying to cope because there's nothing we're going to do. Nothing is going to change. So I think we just have to adjust now.
Now, looking at the other idea, because today we're sort of trying to look at not only the rising cost of living, but we're also looking at an African way of involving our children into our lives. A lot of times you are the breadwinner, you work all your life. By the time you really go, you're so tired. Whatever your children bring in will just be a sort of a gift to you. It's not like something that looks compulsory. White people, white families are slightly different. By 16, by 18, by 20, when the young adults start working, they're expected to contribute to the bills at home. Is that something that you've considered at all?
At the moment, I don't have anyone because Aziz left, obviously, he's out. He's a big man. And Ayub is going to school now, I think, because I don't have him at the moment, obviously.
So it's not a conversation you've had at all?
Yeah, it's not a conversation I've had at all.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Nilfa, in the United Kingdom. Mariam in Texas, in the United States of America. Mariam, I didn't get a chance to see you in the US. I think I did. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, Mariam. I can see you are unmuted. I was hoping that Hello, Mariam, are you there? Okay. Hasfa, if you're there, if you're not distracted, Hasfa, assalamu alaikum. Hasfa, are you there? Maybe distracted at the moment. Just spoken to Nilfa. Why don't I just, stay in the UK? Mariam, I can see you are unmuted. I'll just bring you in at any point when you're ready. I can see you're already unmuted. I don't know what the situation is where you are at. Let me go to Rehma. Rehma RM. Hello, Rehma. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, Rehma. Oh, we have some Shylocks now tonight, and I'm not yet ready. Well, the way this program works will just come to you. If you don't raise your hand, it's a conversation we have. It can't be me having the talking head all over. It's a conversation we are having. This is Come. Let's talk with me, Kassim Kayira. Janet, I bring you in. Greetings and long time, Kabisa. How are you? Amakuru. Hello, Janet. Hello, Janet. Looks like the lines are not being very friendly tonight. Hello, Janet, are you there? You know you should be there. Okay, I'll keep going around and just see. 1 second, let's just see. Mariam, are you there? Rehma not. Okay, I've just seen some new faces here, and as the program works normally, we'll just try to make sure that we hear.
Mic with Mariam.
I can see Mariam.
A microphone.
She doesn't have the microphone on.
No.
Well, it was on actually when I asked her to unmute, and then surprisingly the microphone decided. Mariam, if you can please just log off and then log back on so that we can get your mic on, because I'm sure she can hear us, but then we cannot hear her. It was on when I was asking her to unmute. So Mariam, if you can please, if you can hear me, if you can just mute, rather log off and then come back, and we can get to hear from you. I've seen Leopard. This is a new Leopard. Hello, Leopard. Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Leopard. Are you there? Where did I go? Hi, Leopard. Hello there.
Hello, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you today?
Fine. I'm not here, but I can say, as English say, that I'm okay, but not here.
Abdullah Khamis, now you are the Leopard, I can tell. Good to hear from you, and I'm sorry about your condition. How are you coping with these rising costs?
Yes, pain. I'm in real pain, but now I'm getting somehow a relief at least.
Wow, did you get it?
Because how to treat it is treating clear now at least.
Okay. That's good to know, alhamdulillah. How about the rising prices, the topic of our conversation tonight? What's been your take?
You know, I just seen now and I just joined it immediately. I remember, but I had to forget it because I took medicine.
Oh,
it was hard now when I woke up, I remembered something and then I clicked on it.
Yes.
So
thank you very much for joining.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm just wondering, in terms of the rising prices, have you noticed anything about the prices that have changed, have gone through the roof?
Yes, I've realized that the price has gone high. And as for me, I try to negotiate with them they say that because I was on different tariff,
Mm.
and I told them that now I gave them a condition that because I did a contract with you, I am not going to accept you to disobey the contract we agreed. When I
Oh,
finished my terms
is
of
that for electricity and gas? Is that for electricity and gas?
yes, I
Uh-huh.
say I did. If I break the rules of the agreement with you, you could have really punished me.
Yes.
So with that, I'm not going to allow you to touch on the situation how it is until I finish my
Your contract. Yes.
Then everybody should tell them like that, because
Did
if
they
them
agree?
themselves they do the job, if they do the mistake, they'll
Mm.
punish you. So why should we agree them to punish us to sign a new contract to go on because of the situation which is happening? They have to face it. I'm
Did
not
you
going to face
win?
that one.
Abdallah, did you win? Did you win? Did you?
Of course I win.
Right.
I win. They say, okay, we are
Mm.
going to leave you where you are, so we are not going to tamper with you. Because as I'm paying direct debit, that's it. So they cannot tamper with my direct debit. Whatever which I'm using is that one. Because I gave them a challenge that if I was the one
who had reneged on the agreement, yes,
after the contract, would you not punish me? I will get punished. But now I did not. You have to be responsible for my. You know, when you are tough with these people, you win them.
I can tell now. Now that's lucky because you're on direct debit. Many people are on actually the prepaid accounts, and in there now we are just paying the price at the moment because you do not have a choice. You are just you put on £10, £20, and it just rushes like this. You don't even have a minute at all to sort of save yourself.
People should have at the beginning. People should have understood that paying with let me say, in terms of what I'm doing, paying with bills is better than paying with those key. Because sometimes you forgot to put it. Sometimes you don't have money. You know, it's not that you have to have money to put it. At least when they give you bail and you pay for bills, whatever bill comes in, and that was the contract you signed with them, they pay you bills, and then whatever we don't have today, if it becomes a bill of £300,
yes,
but pay £15. It doesn't matter. This day I can pay £15 and remain the balance. I'll be paying them slowly by slowly. It does not matter. They are going to catch you because you didn't finish the whole amount. So long as you can pay at least something. But people feared for nothing. I don't know why. People shouldn't fear. Don't fear because they will not take it to court. The good thing here, whatever if they take it to court, you are ready even to pay 1p. Because that's what they, according to what
that's what you can afford.
Yeah, that's what you can afford. So they cannot tackle you with that. You go to court, you say yes. If you want money from me, yes, let them count what I use and how much I get.
Yes.
Then they will afford to pay 1p. And it is allowed in the court. So you pay 1p until they win, you know.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much, Abdallah Hamis, for your contribution. Isma, please have that clip of switching off the gas very nearby. I think we will need it. It will just lift us, lift our morale, and actually show how much trouble we are having to go through. Jackie Matovu, and then I'll come to Haj Bib. Jackie, hello, Jackie. Greetings. Hi, Jackie. Hello, Jackie Matovu. I'm trying to get you to unmute. Hi, Jackie.
I had a special announcement.
Haj Bib.
Oh, hello.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Alhamdulillah. We are talking the rising prices now. How is it on your side? Where are you? Where are we reaching you from?
Yeah, we are trying to cope up. Alhamdulillah, we are trying to cut some foods we are eating and trying to the son and daughters to help out as well. But it's taking a toll on them.
Yes.
Yeah, because my son recently asked me that, Mom, because I used to tell them that enjoy your life as you can, because adulthood is not easy.
Yes.
And I think they thought I was joking.
Mhm.
So recently, my son asked me, Mom, tell me, you have mentioned it. I think he's told me, at what age did you start going through what we are going through? I said, what are you going through?
Yes.
Because he said, Mom, did you used to pay bills and all that kind of thing? I said, to be honest with you, everything was done by my mother and father. So I started like paying bills when I was here in England.
Yes.
Because even though I was teaching in Uganda, I used to have, my house used to be paid for by the school. And I used to pay only for electricity, but my dad used to pay for me by then as well. So everything started here.
Wow.
And he was telling me, but Mom, don't you think we should invest back home so that during winter time we go back to Uganda? Honestly, they've come up with so many things that I said, oh my God.
Right.
So
How old are they?
17. Nurain is 17 and my daughter is 20.
Right.
And another one is turning 16. So that's the thing, like we never...
So are they contributing to the bills?
Yes, I was so surprised because my son is getting minimum wage at the moment.
Yeah.
And he makes sure at least he gets like, Mom, what do you want me to pay? But I told him, you just save your money and do what you want to do with it until you are 18 at least. But he's willing to pay something.
I think that's the bit that I actually wanted to raise with many of the parents here tonight, especially those with children who are sort of getting to the adult age, as young adults beginning to work.
Yeah.
I struggle, and I have to admit to this because I've worked all my life. I've
Yeah.
felt like, as father, the moment you start getting money, having to plead or beg money or, ask for money from your children,
Yeah.
it's like a failure on your part. And it's a weakness that I would have to fight with. I'm working too hard. Probably I shouldn't be working that hard. But I would struggle on how to get it. If they come in and they say, we are bringing this money, alhamdulillah. But there are families that have sat and actually put up quotas to say, this is how much you should be bringing. Asians do sit and they actually lay out strategies. They say, we need to pay our mortgage. Then once we pay this mortgage, then we start buying somebody else's mortgage. Like they buy for each of them, but on the basis of gathering all the income. So it is something that they sit through. Probably it's about financial efficiency on our part as Black communities. Whether that is a conversation that we get, because I can hear you also saying, you're almost saying to the children, enjoy your life, then you can start contributing later. So you are letting them off, and then you get to a point where probably you need it.
And they will not. Absolutely, you are right. Because my daughter, who is at university, she came and told me, Mom, I'm so proud, I'm so happy that you don't sit with us, apparently, and you don't tell us exactly what to do, like to pay for electric or gas or this, because I have friends at university, they sit with their parents and their parents actually tell them, I need 300, 400 pounds from you. And for God's sake, he was saying, Mom, where are they going to get money? And she was telling me that they say, but you get student finance. You understand what I mean? So they get money from them from student finance. So, I mean, yeah, to get the balance right is very good, honestly, because they have to know. But I was thinking maybe if they are 18, that's when they should... that's on my opinion, but they are willing to pay actually.
Well, I mean, you are lucky that they have that willingness. We might be in a situation where some children actually don't even have that. And I've found it mainly in African families. In African families, it's one difficult one. It's almost just a choice that they make. What do we hear from the rest of the parents here? How are you doing it? How are you able to cope with it? I've got 2 young adults already working out of home, out of uni and out of home and already working. But I would say I would honestly struggle to sort of get them to say, start bringing this amount of money. As a result, you end up working harder and harder. Yet probably that would be the time now to relax a little bit and start enjoying the benefits of having the children. White families would, in African families, how do you do it? The program is Come, Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. Thank you very much. Well, it's just 20 minutes to 9 o'clock. And we are still listening to you. Let's try to get to Jackie Matovo. Hopefully she's there now. Hello, Jackie. Are you available at the moment? Hello, Jackie. Good evening. Jackie is quiet. Hello, Hafsa, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hasfa in the US, I can see you, you're unmuted. Oh, subhanAllah, it's gone quiet now. Okay, let me try and get Janet. Janet, I've been trying to get you. I don't know if you're at work as well. Message from Neil Fakasuja was saying bills are cheaper than the prepayment meters, especially the monthly. Yes, bills are much, much cheaper. People on prepaid meters are struggling so much. We are actually losing, and you have nowhere to run, even to have a conversation along that line. Janet, are you there, or you're unable to come on? I'll move to NK and balance it out. Hello, NK. Hello, NK. Hello, NK. I'll go to Justin. Hello, Justin. Justin Murenju, good evening and welcome to the conversation. How are you today?
I'm good, Kayira.
Good to have
Assalamu
you
alaikum.
again. How is life going?
Good, good. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam. Yes?
Listen, I just came in. What was the topic about that?
Well, the topic we are talking about the rising cost of living. And I mean, we are getting in deep winter now. The prices of gas, electricity, food. But also importantly, we are looking at people getting adults, young adults, children who have, got beyond adolescence and they are getting into adulthood, how to see how they can start contributing to the bills in the homes. First of all, how are you coping with the rising prices? Are you fine? You're still spending the way you used to spend, or you've had cut off some things?
Alhamdulillah. Still about the same. We thank Allah for that. But then we don't know what the future holds. But going forward, yes, I think we've got families, especially in our culture. We are not like the Asians or some other cultures where they teach their kids from when they're little, when they're younger, whereby you get to a certain age, if you start to work, you've got to support the family. They ask you to pay some money into the family pot. Now that they're going to spend it, I know a few people indirectly, it's like they're saving it towards your mortgage. So when kids grow up and they're like, okay, I'm moving out, you're not aware that, oh, we've got like a kitty for you, like 20,000. And that's your money that they've saved indirectly.
Justin, while you're at it, yes, just hold on. SM, I've seen your message. You're unable to raise your hand. Yes, I'll definitely come to you. At least I know you were there. Let's continue here with Justin. So you're saying, what can we do as Africans? Is it a failure? Is it some shyness? Is it within our culture that we find it difficult to involve our children to start contributing to the home budgets?
I think it's a failure. Right. To be honest, I think we have this culture of shame as a parent to asking some money from your child, but it's a fact of life.
Yes.
It's a fact of life. Come on.
I would look like a failure if I was going to ask my son for money.
That's what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, it's a fact of life. Some of our kids earn more money than we do.
Yes.
You've educated them. You've empowered them, right? Not to have low-paying jobs like you, because most of us are immigrants.
Yes.
We haven't had the opportunity. You've come here when you're older. You've taken the jobs that are easygoing, and maybe to fit up with your children, as in childcare and stuff like that. But because they are younger, you groom them, you direct them, you want to empower them, give them the best. So when they get to that point whereby, they're getting six-figure sums, you're like, okay, come on, pay so much to the kitty. Not because I need it, but it's a way of teaching them how to save. Some kids don't know how to save. And when they're ready to fly the nest, you use it as a deposit. Or maybe sometimes you use it just for the family well-being.
Oftentimes they feel like it's their money and therefore they should do with it what they want. I mean, they want to fly, they want to travel around the world.
No, that is still there. It's their money, but it's how you bring up these children. If they see you struggle, I know you can't have everything perfect, but it's just the principles you lay in your children. They are not stupid.
Now
Some
the problem
kids are
is
just
we
nosy.
didn't have this, Justin. We didn't have this with our parents. Our parents struggled so much, and then you carry forward. It's kind of a vicious cycle. We've seen our parents struggle. They've got where they've got. We can send in money, but it's just like a gift. It's not a compulsory contribution that you have to be making. For us to imagine that we've come to the West and therefore have seen that it got exposure, it almost becomes difficult for us now to introduce this. How do we start introducing this?
Sure, Kayira, I think also from our backgrounds also depends from what kind of family that you came up from. We are not all uniform, for lack of a better word. What you think like is not good for one family, it's been the same for the one generation all their lives. Some families, African families, Ugandans, are just imbued like the Asian families. And
Well,
we've seen that.
on which point then, Justin, I think Dennis is saying, hi, Justin, can you please expound on the Asian strategy you mentioned? The parents help them save up for the future. Wanted to have a little bit of that, and then I'll bring SM to sort of talk, because this is the conversation we are having. Go ahead.
Sorry, what did you say? I didn't get that question, Sheikh.
It
What
was
did you say?
Dennis here in the chat room who said, Justin, can you please expound on the Asian strategy you mentioned about the parents helping them to save for the future?
Oh my God, I don't know where he's situated, where he lives. But all of us in Europe here or in America, you find Asians living on a whole street. They own the whole street.
Yeah.
Grandparents came, say from Uganda, bought that one house and that one corner shop, right? Yes, Muzamuzi, yes, you're in the US, I can see now there. Evidence from where I live in, I'm somewhere in Europe here. Right. You could get like 2 streets. It's just one family, one Asian family. You've got the grandparents, great-grandparents, the children, as in one, they're all safe, they live in overpopulated in one house, but with one common aim. It's not ideal, but they have this common goal to bring and uplift everybody.
SM, can you speak to Justin, please? SM, come in, please. I think you are unmuted now. How are you today?
Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. Yeah, she's very right. The
Yes.
Asian, they are. I have an example. I rented a house from this Asian guy. It's around Mitcham, and he told me, like the lady has just said, they bought the entire street, and because they used to sleep in one flat, 9 of them, and they had a strategy that this year we are going to buy this house for this person, and this time we are going to buy for this one. And he said, the difficult thing with us Africans, we don't have any solidarity and we're not united. Only 2 Ghanaian people who did that, and they have like 3 flats on that same street I used to live on. But the Ghanaian told me they would have bought themselves on that entire street. But whoever he tried to approach, they were like, no, I'm not putting my money. No, my money will all go. No, I can't risk it. And he said, these people, they risk, they will save, they'll eat this chapati, you name it, curry, and they will sleep in one area, but they save. And there is no harm for like telling your kids to help you. It's really difficult, very difficult. If they're living under your roof and you're struggling, we are not getting that good. Sometimes you're paid. Now, like the bills have gone up, but the wages haven't gone up. I mean, now the wage went up, but it's all going on a national insurance. So if you have a kid that can help, and they're willing to help. If they're not, you can talk to them and you tell them, this is what is happening. Just bring a tiny bit. But I hear some families, when you ask for, like African culture, if you ask a kid for money, one of the kid, in fact, reported one of his parents that he was asking for money for the bills. But can you imagine
to the police, to the authorities?
Yes, that my parents is asking for money for the bills. Yes. And he's living in their parents' house. He's about 18. If you can't help your parent, then you get out and go and find your own flat, and then you see how it is hard. Sometimes I think we baby them too much, but I understand you want them to save, but it's hard. It's very hard. If you're sharing a house and a lot of them, you have like maybe 4 or 3, you have to pay all the bills. They come in, they're working. Where are they putting the money? I know some people will say they're saving, but they need to help you at the same time. That's what I'm just saying.
So, how do we start this conversation? Because like I admitted, and Jeanette is here now. Jeanette, thank you very much. Look like finally you're free. How do we start this conversation? And I admitted my own guilt that I would struggle because I've worked all my life. I've really worked, and I'm still working too hard. But I get to a point where now the kids have sort of, they've started getting out of home. But I find it difficult to even have a conversation around, can you bring in some money? If they bring it, alhamdulillah. If they don't, I don't feel like having that conversation. Now, for a guilty person like I am, what would be your advice? And I would like this from Justin and SM, and then we'll bring in Janet. How would you advise me? How do I start getting into this conversation, opening up this chapter that I've not had? I'm a very proud person. I've worked, I've lived my life, and I feel like going to them now would almost be an admission of failure. How do I start
Kayira,
the conversation? Yes, please.
you've brought them to this age, right? They're accountable, they're responsible people. You've made them who they are. And I would like to hope they appreciate what you've done. Okay. At the end of the day, as a parent, when you come down and say, listen, I'm struggling A, B, C, D, I don't think any child who's been brought up right will start judging you. You've offered all you've had all your life. They've seen you struggle. You've provided as much as you can, as dad, as mom. Okay. So when you get to a point, they're not stupid. They see what's going on in the world. They read papers, they go on social media. Cost of living has gone high. The pound has lost value. Okay. They go out. They go out. They go out. They can't buy the trainers they used to buy before. Okay. They are still living under your roof. You're telling them, listen, you're probably earning 1,500. Would you mind giving me £100
No, they're out of home. Both of them are out of home, and I think that's
which is fine. No, what you can say, this is it. We're struggling. Can I borrow £100? If they have extra, no, it's true. Listen, check, I'll do this.
Yes.
And most of these kids, I'll tell you, it's from experience. Most of these kids will even give you £200 and say, "Mom, you don't pay it back."
Yes.
Not because they have it, but it's because of how you brought them up. It's not because you're asking, you're in a tight corner. And wallahi, no child of you is going to judge you. Because you've sacrificed so much. It depends on the relationship you've got with your children and how far you've come with them.
Neil Ferguson said if the kids have left home, I don't think it's fair to ask them to contribute. But if they are in the same roof, sit down, and I'm sure they will contribute.
If they've left home, they're not contributing towards, you're borrowing, you gotta pay back. Unless they've given it to you.
Right.
Because they have their own bills, they've got their own expenses.
They have their own lives to sort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I borrow so and so? I'll pay in such and such a time, and you pay back, please. You don't just sit on it because you think they owe you. No.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Justin. SM, come in there, and then I'll go to Janet.
Yes, she's right. Like, I'm sorry, it's Kassim, Kayira. Like home, you will see your parents. Maybe we didn't bring up like we are brought up back home. You see your parents struggling. Even if I'm not living in their house, I could know now everything is gone up. I just come, okay, just you don't even ask me a month, and I give you some money because I know dad is struggling or mom. You don't even have to ask them. It depends how you brought them up, because they can know that my parents are struggling. Another example, there is a lady I work with. She's worked really hard. Like we work African, we work for our kids, and she brought out all her kids here. So 2 are still living with her, and the 2 have left the house. But the ones where they help the mom, but even those ones who have left the house, they come and give their mom money. They told the mom, can you stop overworking like this? Because last 2 weeks she was weak and she was sick, and they said, Mom, you need to reduce your hours. So they're now giving her the money. They're contributing towards the house where she's living right now. It depends how we bring them up. And
Thank
we have to, yes, that's how. Assalamu alaikum.
We are getting a son coming into the conversation, which is getting very interesting. Janet, I'm trying to unmute you. You haven't come on, so I will be listening to a son who wants to contribute to the conversation. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Your name, please.
My name is Noin Kuzito. I'm the son of Hajara.
All right. Yes, Noin. How are you today?
I'm great. How is
I'm
everyone?
sure you've been listening into the conversation and something tickled your mind.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't feel like I want to talk from the parent side, because I don't feel like, I have the experiences in life to, talk about stuff like that. But I just wanted to say about how I feel like the parents shouldn't, sort of feel embarrassed, or because the parental role is to take care of their children, if the children offer the help, because, things are getting really, really hard. And as much as parents want to help them out, and sometimes they have to take a step back and sort of let them do it, because at the end of the day, as a parent, your job is to raise your children. So eventually, when you get older, they'll take care of you. But the situation that we're in, and us living in Britain, sometimes that hardship comes early. And
Noreen, how old are you?
17.
You are 17, so you're just beginning into the working world. You're just
Indeed.
working world. Do you feel sort of responsible for your parents? Do you feel like you would want to throw in as much help as possible?
Yeah, I try any bit I can, because I feel like if I start to make income or money, I feel like it's an obligation that I have to parents, and they work all the jobs to like having food and having clothes. I feel like I don't really have a choice. I feel like by default I have to.
But as a young man, you start having needs. You want to wear the latest sneakers. You want to hang out with friends.
Yeah.
Even with friends that is it a conversation that you ever had at all, or maybe this conversation now got you thinking? Is it something that amongst your friends, as you hang out, is a conversation you can have about helping parents?
Yeah, I try to keep a balance between it, but I always try to, what do you call it, like set like an amount depending on how much I make, and then how much I would spend on going out and having my own personal things. But obviously, if my mom was like, I'm really struggling, and because at the end of the day, if she doesn't have enough, and I want to go and, I don't know, watch a film or get a new hoodie or something, that's not something that I need. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have enough at home, but if my parents need it now, then I'll sacrifice my desires, my just stuff for fun, to help out the ones that who are in need, because I feel like it's my obligation. I have to do it.
May God bless you. I mean, it's having that kind of thought process, because many young people have been brought up in this country, in Western countries, with a sense of entitlement that it becomes very difficult even to have that conversation. They feel like once they start making their money, it's their money, and therefore they start living their life how they so wish. So to imagine that you even feel it in yourself to sort of feel like you would want to contribute, I think that's something that should be applauded. I'm sure parents here now must be feeling very proud of your attitude. But probably you are 17 and you haven't started. Once you get to 20 and you get your own wife, probably the story would change.
Okay, I appreciate you having me on the show, and I wish you guys a good evening. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Well, let me say, mashallah, wonderful young man. I'm sure you can see from the parents the kind of emotions that you're already calling in or getting people to sort of open up. The program is Come, Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. It's 8 minutes past 9 o'clock. We are live on 75 Radio. We are live on Ummah Connected. We are on Facebook, on YouTube, on Zoom. And very soon, actually, we're going to start going live on Instagram and Snapchat. So do not miss the conversation. Inside Bros, that is from Muzahuzi Dennis. Dennis, I'll actually be coming to you at some point. Looks like you've been open. Janet, you're welcome. And Isma, please have our clip ready from Janet. We shall just go to that clip and see what sort of measures other people are taking. Janet, you're welcome. Mama Kuriawe.
Never. Good evening.
It's been quite a while. Good evening. I've been trying to get you. It looks like probably you're in the middle of something.
Yeah, because we were getting ready for bed.
Yes, well, you've had the conversation we've just had from a young man who is
very interesting. That young man, big hugs to him. Hi. We are proud of you, young man.
Yes.
Really.
It looks like you're listening with your own family there, are you?
No, I'm hiding from them now.
All right. Okay, I thought they were listening into the conversation. What has it been like for you? What has it been like for you? First of all, the rising cost, but now I think the topic that has sort of picked up is involving our children, because it is becoming clear that as African families, we are not very good at involving our young adults to participate or partake in the happenings at home when it comes to bills.
Yeah, I think it's hard for the the generation, us, you and me who came from Africa or Uganda, or, because our parents never involved us with money, and then, but we were again obliged to help when we had our own independence, work, finish our studies and started working. We help out. We paid school fees. We've helped out with everything. Our elder parents and all that. So, and nobody tells us to do that. We just feel it's our responsibility. But again, when we come, and now I think we have the children here. I don't have the older ones. I have the young ones now, 14, and 10. And I've seen my uncle who has the older ones. He sat them down. They're in their late 20s, 30. And as soon as they finish uni, they got their high skilled jobs. They started helping out with his mortgage. Or paying the bills. And it was not like they are actually refusing. No. Because they're earning. They were staying there with them. And one had to work fast, so he moved, but still he had to contribute towards the parents' mortgage, which is, for him, he said, this is your house. So the earlier we finish paying it, the better.
Yes.
And he has another house for another child. He has 3, so that was good. I think that is a good one.
That
and
looks like an insight for you. So how are you doing it? Did you pick a leaf? Have you started having little conversations with your own young ones?
Yes, they know now that things have to be reduced. So you have to wear the trainers, you don't have to get the other trainers.
The latest ones, the Jordans and the Air Jordans, yes.
No, we can't afford it because it's the gas. Because I tell him when we are going to top up gas, go and top up. How much is it? 30 pounds. And how long? Then we say, okay, this is how long that's taking. So, oh, that is a lot of money, mommy. So, and yeah, we are learning. So when we go to market, as I had one person saying we're spending 5 minutes in 1 hour. So I'm checking cash instead of checking the card. So if I want onion, I'm checking 10 pounds, and I say, these are the 3 things I want. So
I don't know if you had joined the conversation, but I was giving my particular experience this particular week, which I enjoyed very much, where I took my
that was good. I was listening.
You had that experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing myself.
I think it opened up a sort of a new chapter. And I want to do a comparison during this week, and I hope they can't hear me. But during this week, I would have wanted so much. I will take the boys and now provide the same money and see what they'll be able to do, because the girls were very meticulous, 15-year-old and 8-year-old. Now I've got a 15-year-old boy, a twin to the girl, and then a 16, 17-year-old now. I would like to see how they will go about that, and just give them the same amount of money and see how they will fare, because the girls really surprised me. I will not lie to you, because normally I just do shopping. I go a lot because I'm out, and then I just do the shopping, bring it in. And the way they just narrowed it down to the bare basics, they just know we need this, we want this, and wanting and needing suddenly was very interesting in terms of when it came to the actual money. Because once someone has money in their hands and they have to make a decision, it is very interesting the kind of choices that they actually make. Now, about the situation now, how are you dealing with the rising prices?
I think we underestimate these kids. They are clever as one parent, because my son always goes for the offers as well. If on his own stuff, like he says, oh, one is on offer, so he will go for the £1, 150.
Yeah.
So he always looks at the money and looks again, and looks at the item, looks again. So today I gave him £2. He went out because he's on half time. So I gave him £2 and he saved again. He bought what he wanted and he saved. He said, "You see, I have balance, mommy. This is the balance." So which is good.
Yes. Oh, fantastic.
then one thing, I think somebody said one child reported, I think, to the authorities.
Oh yes, they reported the parent
that is
for asking for money.
That is wrong because I also have interacted with the white families, Abazungu. I think for them, they teach their children early and they live on budget.
Yes.
They don't just spend anyhow. So if it is holiday, it is holiday. They're saving towards that holiday. If it is this they have to do. If it is, they are going to buy a house, they're saving. And the kids know that. They don't just, and you can see the Omana Umzung, we wear the same coat for the same 2 winters.
Yes.
Or the same shoes, and there is no problem. But ours, we keep
They
changing.
just want to show off the shoe, throw the shoes as soon as possible.
So, and I don't see them reporting their parents. And I see these parents have good houses, they have very nice houses, they are driving good cars, but their kids come out, no gamba, I think that. But that they are living on budget.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. So how come we can't do that?
All right, Janet. Thank you very much. Let's cross to the United States and Dennis. Janet, much pleasure to have you back. Dennis Muzahuzi, all the way in the US. Welcome to the conversation. First time on the program, I guess.
Yeah, first time. Greetings, Mr. Kayira.
Good to have you. Greetings.
Yeah, yes.
Where are you in the US?
I'm based in Washington, D.C.
In Washington, D.C. All right.
Yes.
How is the weather there?
It's getting cold. It's starting to get cold. It's like 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Can't remember to convert it in Celsius, but but yeah. So
right, good to have you on. And it looks like America, you seem to be far away from the troubles that we seem to be having in Europe. Europe, because we are very dependent on Russian gas.
Oh yeah.
It looks like in America the story is different. How are you coping? Are you noticing any rises in prices of commodities?
No, I think you're right. There's yes, there's high you could see a spike in some prices, but there's a way they've kind of like capped it, in some places. You still you would see a little difference in how some items, have gone up maybe $1 or $2, but not that crazy much, it's gases, went up. That was global, but they kind of like they went in their reserves and gave an authorization to release some of the reserve gas that they have. So the price of fuel has kind of gone down a little bit. And I think I would like to say maybe because America trades with a lot of countries that we've not felt so much of the Russian pressure kind of effect on the economy. Of course, yes, it is there, but it's not as skewed as it could be in Europe.
No, actually, I was in the US, I think last week. I was in Boston for about 4 or 5 days. And we were talking about the problems, the rising prices that we have in Europe. You go with this European mindset, and then you get there, the American lives, the way you live large, it was totally it was like nothing was happening. Life was continuing. So it sounded like we're actually making, making a mountain out of a molehill, and that's not how it came across.
No, yeah, you're right. People are still living their large life. It's maybe people the really low income earners are the ones that may be feeling the pinch. But even that the government programs, there's still some help that comes. But going back on the topic of and the reason as to why I was trying to get
ask about the Asian example.
Miss Justina kind of expound on that, because I personally don't have kids, but I am taking care of a family back home, and so I have teenagers from my late sister's family that I'm trying to figure out how can I go about teaching them principles of money and how can they live an independent life, but yet still support, a little bit in the family as we grow together, as we manage these prices together, because as you can tell in Uganda, the prices have also doubled, in terms of like, if you're buying flour, maize flour, if all those prices have gone up, everything has gone up. So to show them like, okay, right, you're making a little money, but how can you contribute, because you're staying in and it's a culture thing too, because the culture in Uganda is like, okay, I'm staying here, I don't have to contribute, because it's not our culture back home to do those things. It's so to kind of like maneuver in a way of instilling a culture change in a particular home versus what is being done in the entire community. Because I'm just imagining like my teenagers going out in talking to their fellow friends, telling them my uncle is telling me that I should contribute to the well-being of the family. Culture-wise, that sounds really, really out of this world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like, if some people on this platform have that kind of experience, and how are they going about it? How would they help in instilling that kind of value? Because I've been talking to them out of the American perspective, because even here in the US, as early as 16, you're starting to contribute towards the family well-being.
You're almost throwing them out of home once they're 16.
They're ready to throw you out.
Yes.
So as an American uncle, I'm talking to them and they're like, oh, this guy, is become too Americanized, that he thinks we can go with that kind of thinking or the way of life like the Americans. So I'm trying to figure out a better way to bring it, but still stay on their good side, yeah.
Well, for the participants in the conversation, you can hear Dennis is just raised the question. He's just saying, how are you doing it? That's the question we've been asking. How have you been able to do it? Many African families struggle with having conversations around money with their children, especially the young adults, ready to start working, ready to start living their lives. And they have problems having to communicate that. Well, the conversation is come. Let's talk with me, Kassim Kayira. It's 22 minutes past 9 o'clock in the United Kingdom. Well, and we are live on 75 Radio. We are live on Umma Connected, on YouTube, on Zoom, and on Facebook. Well, remember, you can have your say in the conversation. SM, mashallah, one of the young man that was regarding Lorraine, and great insight from Dennis we just heard from. Isma, I hope the clip is ready. Let's just have that clip for a breather. Then I'll come back to Farida Nassali and Aida K. Just to hear your own views. Hussein, you just joined us. Thank you very much for joining the conversation. We noticed you, Galaxy S6 Edge and iPhone Cam. We'll all hear from you. Let's first play. These are people, a family that has just decided to take matters in their own hands regarding the rising prices, which, of course, as we've had in America. Yes, Isma, whenever you are ready, we are. And I'm Kassim Kayira, still with you on the program. It is coming on. Isma, whenever it's ready, we'll just be ready to have it. Very interesting conversation so far regarding two aspects that we decided to really come on. As far, I'm hoping I can still get you in the US. I know you logged on, but then you disappeared out of the blue. I could hear the kids in the background. I would love to hear your own experience when it comes to the issue of getting children involved when it comes to issues of contribute to the home. Isma, whenever you
stand in the sun for 3 hours, your hair will be dry. Energy bill. What are you doing?
Relaxing. And hear the sound.
With the light on.
All right. If you can just take it to the start, please. Isma, can you rewind that, please? Just start in the middle. Thank you.
Energy bill. Energy bill. Look at sun. Stand in the sun.
It's just gone to the beginning.
Your hair will be dry.
We can have it.
Energy bill is the beginning. What are you doing?
Relaxing.
With the light on. Natural sunlight. See bright lights.
Are you serious? What
Is it my internet that is frozen or is the clip playing? My apologies. People in the chat room, can you please confirm?
Energy bill. If you want to straighten your clothes, just do this.
Is it just me or is the clip playing? Because mine is frozen.
Take. Maybe it's you. Energy bill. Energy bill. Energy bill. Energy bill. Oh yeah. What are you doing? Washing clothes. No. No. Oh yeah. Let's go outside. Sit down. This is how we do it in Africa. Go and carry buckets and wash the clothes with your hands. What? Energy bills. Oh, on the heater.
Me?
What?
So cold.
If you are cold, you put on socks.
Oh.
Then you cover with cloth. Cover with another cloth. You will be warm. Don't on the heater again, eh? Energy bills. Yes.
But you're the parent. You have to pay the bill.
Cut up!
Well, you've just seen that little sketch showing an African family struggling with how to cut bills. So electricity, no washing machine, no more. Of course, that's the extreme situation, but I think it might actually get to a situation where people have to embark on such tough decisions. Why don't we just cross over and just get to speak to Hafsa? Are you there at all? I promise to come off the back of the clip to go straight to Ida. Yes, there's Ida K. Ida, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, just came back from work.
From work, where I can imagine the feeling, but at least hopefully we can relax you, not with the fears of all the large expenses that you have to go through.
Beg your pardon, I didn't get
How
that.
is the winter
Of what?
treating you? How are you coping with the rising prices? I know I was
Well,
saying how with the rising prices, well, you haven't, the money is enough, your end, you haven't felt them.
my dear, there's nothing enough. Shay,
No.
I don't know what I can say, to be honest,
No?
because before this situation came for the fuel,
Yes.
I had a different supplier, and then that supplier sent me to another one because the other one collapsed. So for me, I had already started to face it.
Is that for gas?
Gas and electricity. Yes.
Right.
I had a different supplier, and then I think when they collapsed, they gave me someone without me knowing, and then I started having bills after bills, and then I said, what's going on? I ended up in Citizen Advice Bureau, so that they can help me. £800, for 2 months.
Are you on a prepaid meter?
No, I had a smart meter, and then this new supplier, EDF, they don't want to use these meters. They have their own. So I asked them to give me a new meter. They say, oh, at the moment in your area, we haven't reached there
yet. Network there either.
So I'm just in a limbo. So with this one, where they say that starting October, the bills are going to go higher, I don't know. Because I haven't paid them this month. So I don't know what will happen when winter comes. Because I've been.
Well, Abdallah Hamis was here and he said it very clearly. You just need to call them up, shut them down, just tell them they cannot change the deal. They cannot change the.
How can you?
The contract runs out. Did your contract run out?
My contract with the other supplier. Pardon? With the other supplier, I didn't know what happened.
Ida?
Hello? Shay, you can't hear me, but
the company that you had collapsed.
Yes. I was with
Yes.
Green Network, and then they collapsed, and then I ended up having EDF, yet I didn't want EDF. So they said to me, well, your supplier collapsed, so we are the ones supplying you. And then I said, wow, without my knowledge. I said, well, the thing is you need to clear the bills. So it was a shock for me, which is I'm trying to pay, but I ended up canceling my direct debit, and they were not happy with me because one time in 1 month, they took £500, 250 came off, and then another 250. So I had to cancel.
Hello.
Hello.
Aida, I think
I beg
Abdallah
to
Hamid
interrupt
is
there.
trying to come there because he's already dealt with it. Yes, Abdallah, go ahead.
I need to interrupt there. Now, you cancel the direct debit.
Yes, I had to.
And then you canceled it on being that it was being paid in the wrong people or what?
No, I did. I knew that they are the one taking the money, but I couldn't afford it because I would have gone into unplanned overdraft without me knowing, because according to my budget.
For that one, you can put a note that say, look here, we had an agreement with you, and I was not told that you are transferring me. You just transferred me. I want to stop the bank because I was getting shock of getting into my account and took a lot of money, which I did not know where it was going. And then I knew that the money was coming to you. That's why I wanted to negotiate first. So they have to finish your contract first, and they have to agree on the contract that they gave you first before you join another partner.
You didn't get me. I did my old supplier. I didn't even knew anything about. They
This is
just
what I said.
disappeared.
I knew I had the story you were telling me that you didn't know what was going on. Okay, and then they shift you from a different supplier, but the bill was still going on the same account.
No, when the other supplier collapsed, they moved everything, my account, to EDF.
Oh, so let me tell you, that's fraud. That's fraud, because they were not supposed to go into your account to do that. So how did they go into your account and you never authorized them? Come on, be serious. Be serious.
My dear, I've been to the Citizen Advice Bureau. I've been with them for almost a month, and they say
it depends what question you are giving them. It depends how you play your part of questions.
All right, let's hear. Someone was giving salam there. Who was coming in the conversation?
Yes.
And when you are trying to say such a situation, just refer to himself as being a worker in that position. But in one day, if he will be not working there, is when he will suffer the same thing you are suffering. So let him put his shoes in your shoe before he answer you.
Right. Abdallah, let's hear from SM, please.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
He's very right. They can't take over and they take off your money. Me, what happened to me, they took off £258.99 when I was in Uganda, direct debit. And I was away from math. They took off that much money. So when I came back, I asked them, I haven't even been in the country and you took off that much money. They said, oh, because this has gone up and that. And I told them, I'm not going to accept this. I'm contacting my lawyer because this is unacceptable. Yes. What I did, went to the MP, came back, they gave me a letter. I wrote to them. You know what they said? They returned my money and they said that month I used £100. In fact, they said I used 80. So I was asking myself, how come they're taken off 250? You have to challenge them. Here, if you don't fight these people, they would nick your money, I'm telling you. My brother is right. You need to challenge them. They can't just shift you to other company.
Aida?
My dear, when I tried to challenge them, and then even they said to me, if you have a problem, you can speak to the Citizen Advice Bureau. They are Citizen Advice Bureau. So I said, no, I'm going to my local. So I went to my local Citizen Advice Bureau. They even helped me to call them. And they explained that, the reason why the other energy supplier collapsed, because she wasn't paying enough, because it's a 3-bedroom house. And the way the 3-bedroom house and the 2-bedroom house is the difference. The energy is different. And then I said, guys, I've been paying them. They were taking money from my account. It's a direct debit. So I don't have a fault. It's not my fault that they collapse, you see. So they say they are backdating because those people, they were taking a lot, like little money from my account.
This certainly now is one area where you might probably need to get a lawyer involved. If the Citizens Advice Bureau can't help, I'm sure this is one area where you might have to get a lawyer involved. Neil Fakasuja, I think you want to come in on the same issue. Do you want to advise at all?
Yes, I'm going to come to this issue. I just wanted to ask Ida, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. When did this actually happen? Because when did this actually happen? What month did this happen?
It happened last year.
Oh, okay.
When all the energy supplier collapsed.
Okay, because there was an issue this year that people were even told. So when they started hiking the prices, the gas suppliers, the energy suppliers, so what they were doing, they were advising people to read your meters before that day, because this is how they were getting money from people. So they just hiked the prices without actually coming to read your meters. So some of us who had read our meters, we were actually being charged 4 times more than the actual meter reading. Okay, exactly. So they had to give the money all back because they realized we were also clever, because they were just hiking the prices anyhow to get the money. They thought people would be stupid. So this is why I was trying to ask if that was the time as well. And
no, mine was before.
I always tell people, get a read. Were you paying by direct debit every month?
I was paying by direct debit every month.
Every month. They shouldn't have got all that money from you. You should have got your meter readings. And no one is supposed to take a direct debit from you without your consent. You're supposed to sign.
Actually, yeah. Now, so Ida, you might actually realize that you might have to take some measures.
Yeah, some legal action. That is actually fraud.
You need to find a lawyer, and
doesn't matter
definitely
who
this
they
will
are.
come to pass. Yeah. I can see Jaden's hand. Jaden, it looks like
I don't know where to start
feed into this.
Yes, I want to come in on that. It's unfortunate that the sister had. It's unfortunate that the sister had her money taken off, but I think the problem also lies with us consumers, because when we sign some of these agreements and some of these forms, we just take them as gospel truth. Because when you accept to sign a direct debit or to pay by direct debit, there is a part where you have to sign, and it's the direct debit guarantee. And point number 3 states that if there's an error in the payments, the error can be either a lot of money has been taken out of your account, or the money has been taken out of your account before the due date. Then you're entitled to an immediate refund. So if you had pointed out to your bank at the time the money was taken that I don't recognize this payment, can I have my money back? They would give you your money based on that guarantee. So this is something which we are not aware, because everybody says it's convenient to pay by direct debit, but they don't read the small print which is on that direct debit guarantee. Right. It's now too late. It's over a year, so
might be too late.
It's too late now. They'll say because of the time period has passed, you are deemed to have accepted that payment.
But the thing with my issue, I never signed any direct debit with EDF.
So as the company, but normally when a company takes over the other company,
they take the whole thing.
Yeah, when they took over, they took everything. So they said they sent a bill the following month, and then I said, "Hang on a second, I'm with Green Network. How comes I'm having EDF?" And then when I try to call them, it takes a long time to get to someone.
But that should have given you even more weight, because you are not trading with them initially and they didn't notify you of the transfer of the account to them. So you had a stronger ground there to get your money back.
So I thought that when I went to the Citizen Advice Bureau, they will help me, but they didn't help me. The guy said, "Oh, we can't help you, I think the energy is going up, I don't know, to be honest.
I think probably they didn't get the full details of this particular case, because from the explanation.
They did. Even they had to call EDF, and then they asked them when they took over, and they explained to them. And the guy said, "Oh, because a Green Network, she was paying less money." That's what they say.
That's really absurd, Ida. But before I let you go, one of the other issues, and you've really raised us and taken us now into the realities. People in the United States now, this might not make sense to you, but definitely, I mean, in case a situation like this came up, I'm sure actually the Americans are very good with lawyering than the Britons would be. But either with the other issue we're touching on tonight was the issue of involving children in terms of paying bills. Considering now this kind of situation, of course, I know you as a much younger, but is there a conversation that you've started having? SM and Justin took us into a conversation of saying, as Africans, we don't normally involve our children in the running of.
Mr. Sheikh Kayira, let me just tell you, with my kids, we sat down and I told them now, everything is gone up.
Yes.
No more putting on the lights on the stairs. You know, when you're going upstairs, put the light on. When you reach upstairs, turn it off.
Yes.
You know, in your bedroom.
Have they respected that?
Exactly. Oh my God, especially the young one, she's very strict. If they are in the living room, only because my living room has got 2 lights.
Mm-hmm.
2 chandeliers. So she said, we are using 1.
Right.
They put on socks. They put on, now it started to become cold. In bed, they have to use a blanket and a duvet. We are not putting on the heat at the moment. When they cook, when they are like boiling something after that, everything had to be off. They know themselves because we sat down and I explained to them. Even school dinner, you know, I say, you know, sometimes, some days you're not going to eat at school. You're going to take packed lunch.
Right.
They know.
So, but in terms of getting them to pay, for example, for you later on, they're still young, yes, I say, but once they grow up, because the idea was getting them involved in the payment of bills, because this is a measure that you've taken to make sure you deal with the situation as it is now, the rising cost. But in terms of them contributing, say, paying for the house or for your upkeep, is that something that?
Oh yes, I've already discussed with the big one. I've already discussed with the big one.
How old is the big one?
She's turned 16.
All right. Okay.
So I say to her, when you start, at the moment, I don't want to bother, you know, to disturb her because she's going to do a mocks. So I say to her, after mocks, you finish your GCSE, we're going to find a small job.
Yes.
There will be things you're going to contribute in the house.
Newspaper rounds, probably, to do that and just get some money.
No. There's a job aligned to her, waiting for her to, she will be going to a certain job, not newspaper.
Yes.
She'll be doing a proper job in the big supermarket.
Wow. Okay. Inshallah.
So she knows and she's waiting.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Aida.
You're welcome.
Definitely, you've led us into, you know, a wider conversation around, you know, what is going on around us and how we can probably deal with the situation. Jade and I had come to you, but it was because you are just doing an intervention. Now I'll come to you just in terms of the bigger conversation that we are having. Have you had your conversation with at all regarding contributing to the home budget? Is that a conversation that you feel comfortable about? Like me, you are the proud father who works until you drop dead.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Alaikum salam. Good to have you back.
Yeah, and let me begin by apologizing that our roads crossed when we're in Uganda and we didn't link up. But
you didn't turn up to the farm and I ended up coming to you and you're not there.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've had those conversations with my 2 daughters, and they understand it. But the problem is the challenge. The way I brought them up is that dad is the provider of everything. He's the all-powerful. He's got the money all the time, and he can afford anything. So that was mistake number 1. And I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but it's the way I was brought up.
It's crime number 1. No, it's same here. You're not alone.
Yeah, it was the way I was brought up. Yes. If I remember, I went to A levels and my mattress was 1 inch thick, and I still had those tire sandals, if you know what I mean. The Ugandans will know that.
And the batty suitcase.
Yes. So I had that, and I vowed when I came to this country and said, I'm going to better myself, and when I get children, I don't want my children to go through the same kind of what I went through. So that was crime number 1. Now, crime number 2 is because of the values that I put in our family. I don't want my children or my family to go and borrow money from their fellow students, or to go and borrow money from a neighbor or any other place. That is a value that I've put in place, because I know money is the root cause of most evils, and if they start small at that age, then they are going to develop into this habit of borrowing money.
Yes.
So when I tell them, can I borrow some money, I say, Dad, you're the one who tells us not to lend money, so how come you want to borrow money? So that is crime number 2.
Yes.
And then there's an observation which might ring true for some parents who have got daughters, especially. Because when Uganda, everybody had their money, they've been working, they've been saving, and they would conveniently leave their money at home when we go to town. And when they see anything nice, and this case in particular, oh, Dad, we want to do our hair the Ugandan style. I said, okay, have you got your money? No, we left it in Uganda. I said, okay, I'll pay for you, but I need my money back. So
Yes.
2 months down the line, I'm still waiting for that money, and I can't see it. I can't see it coming back. So again, that is an observation they expect from me, but I shouldn't expect from them. But that's the way I've brought up my family. It's not going to kill us. We'll just work on that. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about is what's been going around about Asians buying a whole street and buying for each other.
Jaden, before you go to that, because I think this is a crime that we are sitting in, and it has become clear, listening to SM, listening to Justin, and I think actually that's where the Asian connection comes in. The preparation, because committing a crime is one thing, but we can always repent. Tauba is there from a Muslim perspective. Penitencia is there in the Christian perspective. Are you not feeling guilty? Because it's a crime that you've committed, but don't you think probably you need to reverse this to have a conversation around money and how probably they can start contributing without feeling like it's just doing you a favor, but feeling that it is an obligation because you worked so hard, you provided, your wife worked so hard, provided. Probably it's time to give back. Isn't there a need to create that sense?
Yes, that sense is there, but again, the proud dad that I am, the direction that I'm taking, because when we're in Uganda, they've seen the investments that people have done and have made there, and we're trying to develop into them the idea of investing back home, whatever little money they've got. Either they save it themselves or they save it through ourselves, and then we can buy them if it's a piece of land or anything in Uganda. They have seen the value of it, and they know the value of land keeps rising. So we're trying to build that into them. They know the house that we live in is theirs once the mortgage is over. That is something they are very much aware of, and we always tell them our parents didn't leave us with anything apart from the education, but we are leaving you with an education and a good education, and we are leaving you some property as well. So if we fail to pay, because we left the whole question hanging, it's an embarrassment sometimes to some families. So we left the question hanging. If we fall onto hard times and this house is taken, what do you think will happen? So that question is hanging out there, and they are aware from the spending cuts that we are introducing in the house with this electricity. So I'm giving them time to reflect on that statement. And then when they come, because they are now in university, they're doing their bit there. But when they come for holidays, that will be the time for me to have that honest conversation with them, because they would have gone through the saving. I'm not telling them how to budget on their students' allowance and whatever. I want them to come back, and then I'll ask them, how much have you saved for what we talked about? And
so on the Asian theory then?
Yes, the Asian theory is the problem with African people, and that includes myself, is honesty and trust. It's a very scarce commodity in our region. I'll give an example. We started a a small cooperative here in Newcastle about 10 years ago. And it was not a lot of money, and we're not many people. It was a group of about 10 Ugandan families plus myself. So we said every week, let's contribute £150, put it into the pot, and we pay it to one person. But it reached a point where some people were failing on their obligation, because
after they had received their rounds,
even before they received their rounds, you know, or this week has been hard. I'll put 50 initially, and then middle of next week I'll put the other 100. We all understand that, but it's an agreement which I see with the Asians. They don't break it. Once they have agreed £50, that is what they'll put it. They will go hungry, they will sleep in darkness and in the cold, but they will honor that obligation. And the one thing which I fail to understand is that if you've got a direct debit, again, this keeps coming up. If you got a direct debit and the funds fail to clear to the bank, they charge you 5, 10, depending on the bank, £20 up to £30 for failed direct debit. But you are there prepared to hold money from an organization which is for your own good, and you don't feel bad about it. And I've had instances of where people contributed sums of money, and one person unfortunately just disappeared with the what? With the whole lot.
The basket and went with
Yes,
the money.
that is the biggest problem. If we don't work on trust and honesty, then we are not going to buy a house,
Now,
let alone a street.
you introduce us into a kind of a minefield of a territory. Unfortunately, is it in our DNA that we cannot bring this back? Because this is a conversation that you will have wherever you go. We are not trustable, we are not trusted, we are not honest, and it's like a disease. But is there any point where some few people can sort of make the trust and start building up that? Where do we get the capital? Where do we get the ingredients that would create this? Because we can talk until the cows come, but the dilemma remains that we have not addressed this kind of big, big burden that is between us. Why is it so difficult to be honest with the trust one?
I'm not sure whether it's from. It can't be a DNA. It's something which
if it is that widespread.
No, I think it's something which we learn from our families, from our tribal groups, from school. It's something which is learned, because you can find in a family where the DNA is shared, you can find one brother is completely honest while the other is a complete rogue. So it's not a DNA. And then because it's like a spectrum. There's people who are comfortable taking £5 slowly and gradually from you, and they don't feel any shame about that. But there's other people who will wait for a big chunk and take the whole chunk. So it's like a spectrum. There's like levels of honesty. And to me, the starting point would be if we accept to lose. If each of us accept to lose, when you give money, they say that if you give money, if you lend somebody money, give it like you're giving a sadaka. I don't expect it back. But if you get it back, then well and good, thank for it, and then put it into something where you because that money was as good as gone. So if you receive it, put it into a good investment. So if we start from that premise that I'm giving out this money, if I lose it, then it's going to be a lesson to me. And if everybody has that mentality, then that money will stay within the circle.
Well, Jaden, we are 6 minutes to the end of the program. I'd like to bring in the people who haven't had a chance to say anything. So we're going to try to fit into those 6 minutes. And thank you very, very much, Jaden, for that insight. I think it's a good way to sort of get into our concluding way. How do we get ourselves into where the Asians, where the whites have had those conversations? Probably that's a good place actually to go. Hussein, please unmute yourself. Hello, Hussein. Salaam alaikum. Hello, Hussein. Hussein, are you unable to unmute yourself? Hussein, are you there? Let me go to Galaxy S6 Edge. Has been there quietly all along. Galaxy S6, I don't know who you are there. Hello, Galaxy. I'm looking at the time and actually being very cautious of the time. Galaxy S6, are you there? Are you in the quiet corner in the Kamoli? Let me go to Godfrey. Godfrey joined us quite late in the conversation, but I'm sure you've managed to tap into the conversation just in terms of where we are at. Rising costs, but also getting African families get involved in conversations with their children, adults, young adults who be able to contribute to running the family home, running the homes and running their own lives. The rising cost first, but also now looking at the concluding remarks in terms of what we need to do, what we can actually do to get the conversation going, because it's clear from African families, we don't talk so much about money, we don't discuss money. Godfrey, are you there? Hello, Godfrey. Hello, Godfrey's iPhone. Hussein, nowhere. Hussein, are you there? Or Galaxy S6 Edge? I'll go to Farida Nassali, who has been there also from the very beginning. I've been trying to reach them, but probably you are at work and unable to speak. If you can just send us a message in the chat room, at least we'll know that you are there. Farida Nassali, I think you're finally available. Hello, Farida. Hello there. Well, I've been left to myself now. Finally, let me just go. Hasfa, are you back or are you still tucked away as well? Subhanallah. We are 4 minutes to the end of the show, and Farida Nassari, no. Let me go to Ramla. Ramla, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hi, Ramla. Maybe at work as well, most likely. Sorry, can't talk. That's Farida Nassari at work. Yes, understood. Understandable, Farida. At least you got in touch, gave us an insight. Mariam, are you there? Mariam, Texas. 4 minutes to go, and we're trying to wrap up. Looks like NK was at work as well. Excuse themselves. Ramla, I'm just imagining probably you are still at work as well. Galaxy S6, one more chance, coming back to you as we wrap up the program tonight. But it's been very good, actually, coming from a break that we had of nearly 2 months, which was beyond my own doing. Alistair, you've just joined the conversation, so probably might sound very unfair. Like, looks like I'm hijacking you, waylaying you into the conversation, but if you're able to speak, then probably we'll fit into the last 3 minutes of the conversation. Alistair, are you there? Maybe not yet ready. Well, I'll just tell you that while I've been away, I've been hard working. Well, we've had a situation where my mother-in-law was admitted in hospital. She was in intensive care, got a stroke, got paralyzed one side of the body, and that has been the case at least for much of the holiday. So it wasn't really the best of holidays to have in Uganda. But towards the end, alhamdulillah, she's out of intensive care. She's on a normal ward and undergoing treatment, beginning to show signs of improvement. So inshallah, hopefully she should get better. So that's really ate up part of the time there. But in the meantime, we also managed to launch a YouTube channel, which chances are, inshallah, might actually turn into a TV station, considering the kind of quality that we are sort of investing into that. It's called Fantastic Africa. So please, when you have a chance, since you've been part of the conversation tonight, go just look for Fantastic, not fantastic, but farm as in farming, then fantastic. Just look for Fantastic Africa and just subscribe to that. You'll be able to see some of the stories we're doing. It's purely agriculture, but agriculture in a very wider sense, looking at innovations and technologies that have gone into agriculture, what people are doing actually in the agricultural field. So we're looking at new innovations, the technologies, using of mobile phones, even not necessarily the smartphones, but even the old button telephones to sort of communicate prices to farmers, where to buy seeds. There are companies that we are teaming up with, Famunera, for example, which is the biggest now sort of buying center, where you get like the biggest problem across, for example, Africa, but also Uganda in particular, is fake seeds. You can't buy like the right seeds and so on. So this company has come in to partner with us on the YouTube channel to be able to help now sort of put the message out. But this company, for example, just gets you the best seeds. So if you want to get like beans or groundnuts for planting as seeds, you just go online, you buy from them, and then they deliver wherever you are. So it is Fantastic Africa is promising to be another very big avenue. It won't affect our Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. It continues to be there on Tuesdays, but it means we are sort of widening our scope. And of course, as usual, 75 W Radio, expanding as well on the channels. We do the website now, 75wradio.com. Umma Connected, come to YouTube, just look for Umma Connected, and then you can find any programs that you have missed in Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. It's exactly 10 o'clock in the United Kingdom. Time to say a very good night to you. And it's actually very, very interesting. SM says, I've watched some videos. Thank you. Yes, please go there. Do subscribe, because that's the only way we build the numbers. Like and share as well. Let's spread the message out across. Inshallah, we'll meet next week on Tuesday, same time, and with more interesting programs, especially as we get deep into winter. Please do not miss. I thank you very much for making the time. I can't wait to see you again Tuesday next week. Bi-idhnillah. Have a very good night, and thank you very much for being part of the conversation tonight. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For those who didn't get a chance to speak, there is next week, God willing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.